Moving on to the next agenda item, we have Michael. He's got some magic up his sleeve.
Yeah, so I'm going to do a little bit of custom apps here. So if you're unfamiliar, we do have a feature in the portal here to create your own custom applications. This couple use cases for this could be it's a product that we don't have in our catalog yet, which we still encourage you to head over to our ideas page, request that application. But you could also have a use for maybe deploying a specific version of an application that's in our catalog. With Patch My PC, you can only deploy the latest version. This could be a good way to deploy specific versions. So I'm going to start off real quick. And when you're in your app catalog here, up in the top right, there's an Add App button here. And when you're in this wizard here, there's basically two tabs that we want to fill out information, right? There's general information here. This is going to be what the application looks like in the app catalog within the portal. And in the configuration here, this is going to be what the application looks like within the add remove program section of the registry and how we do detection by default. So I'm going to start off by doing this with an MSI, and we're looking for you to upload either an EXE or an MSI as a primary install file. I'm going to start off doing this with an MSI on our ROI tool here. And the nice thing about the MSIs is they do have that database in there, a lot of good information. And you'll notice here, we're able to pull out that info and put it into the boxes here for you. We can even do the app icon should that exist in there as well. So the MSI is really quick to get in here. You'll notice it pulled the version number and apps and features name. And ooh, there's some uninstall command section here. Maybe I'll touch on that a little bit later here. That's in public preview currently. But yeah, once you have this info here, if you haven't deployed a custom app in a while, the detection rule tab is actually a little bit newer. So by default, what we'll do is dynamically create a PowerShell script based off the information on this configuration tab. And this is what we're going to look for on detecting the application on the machine. But something that's newer is you can actually drop down to use a custom here. Now you do get this warning. Once you do a custom one, you can't deploy this application through the publisher. You can only deploy it directly to Intune through the cloud portal here. But this does give you a little more flexibility when deploying through Intune should your application not be writing to the registry in a standard way. We all know vendors follow all the standards to make it easy, but sometimes you have to manually do this. So you can come in here, point this to a file, set the version number accordingly, stuff like that. I'm just going to leave it on the default here and hit create. Yeah, so at this point, we're uploading the custom app to your portal here. And what I can do here, if you're unfamiliar, you can hit this filters button here in your app catalog. And you can switch down to your tenant here. So my tenant's called Michael's Tenant. So I'm going to select that. And these are all the custom apps that I have uploaded in here. And you can see that return on investment tool one here. And so this app just sits right alongside all your other apps. And from here, you can deploy it just like any other app in here. And this kind of leads me to another advantage to creating a custom app. I know you all know how to package up applications, push them to Intune. But one of the advantages of doing it through Patch My PC is you'll see you now gain all the configurations that everyone prior to me just spoke about. You have the ability to run the pre-post scripts, modify parameters depending on it. And so you gain all this functionality again that Patch My PC gives you. So that's a really good advantage here. And so, yeah, you can just come in here, do your normal assignments, do update rings that Levue is going to talk about here in a little bit, and deploy your custom app out. And then one thing I'll touch on here as well, I'm going to go jump back here to all my custom apps. We also make it pretty easy to jump to a newer version of the application. So like right here, I've got the older version of Greenshot, and I want to deploy the new version now. But when you click on the application, you'll notice here in the bottom right, you can actually do an add version here. And so what you'll notice is we're basically going through a smaller subset of that initial wizard when creating the custom app. And so what I can do is I can come in here, select the newer version. That'll get uploaded. And then basically we just need to confirm the version number here for this. I've got this pasted here. And this is also a good example of why you might need to use a wildcard in this apps and features name. So Greenshot is an application that in the display name within the registry, it has the version number in it. Well, if we want to properly detect that in future versions, we need to add a wildcard for this one. So this is a good example for this. Yeah, adding that percentage sign as a wildcard, it's going to detect any version in the future there. So I just need to make sure the version's correct there. And then detection rules. Since I have it on the default patch my BC, I don't need to edit anything. But if you were using custom ones and you had a version number in here as well, that's why we have this tab on showing up on a new version, so you can edit that as well. And then all I have to do is hit save. And then yeah, now I have a newer version in here. You'll see it's been updated to the 1.3. Now at this point, you actually don't need to do anything. You can just let the normal sync schedule run, and we're going to treat your custom application just like any of our apps in the catalog. So we're going to see if you've uploaded a new version, and if so, we're going to take action on that during that sync schedule. But you also can override that manually if you want, sync it right away and get that going. Now, one thing I wanted to show too was let me go to edit this custom app here, is that we did recently add in public preview is the ability to append additional silent uninstall parameters. So currently right now, if you run an uninstallation of your custom app, basically we look into the registry for two entries. One's a quiet uninstall, and the other is the uninstall string. And so as an example here, I have a really old version of 7-zip in here. Oh, let me zoom in here. And of course, this isn't working right now. Okay, here we go. Okay, so you'll notice right here, this version of 7-zip only has the uninstall string. So right now, if the custom app is attempted to be uninstalled, it's just going to execute this. Depending on if you're coming from Config Manager or Intune, it may actually just it's not going to work at all. You may just receive an error. Well, what this allows you to do now is you can append that /s onto the uninstall of this process here, and you're now going to get that silent installation for this application. So yeah, this is a really nice feature. And in the future here, you'll see it's grayed out currently. We do hope to be able to just do a full custom uninstallation command as well. So really welcomed feature. I know a lot of customers are doing some postscripts to modify this in the registry themselves to do that. So hopefully this allows you to not have to do those kind of manual workarounds anymore. Okay, and then as Ben hinted to at the beginning, kind of wanted to cover what you need to do to create a custom app that is a PowerShell App Deployment Toolkit package. So let me move my browser over here. So same thing, if I start going through the custom apps wizard here, over on the right here, I've got this PSADT package here. And basically all this is doing is just deploying Notepad++. But you'll notice like the template here, there's a lot of files and folders. So we get asked a lot like, okay, well, where do I put these files exactly? And then what command line do I use to create a custom app? So for that main primary installation file, what you're going to want to do is drag over that invoke app deploy toolkit exe. Now I am showing PSADT 4, basically the same principles I'm about to talk about work for 3 as well, if you still have those packages. So that's going to be your main app file. Now, what you would want to do at this point is in the extra file section here is do add folder. You'd want to select all these folders in the template and add files and do all that. One thing I like to do is you can actually just select the main exe file. And then depending on what OS is going to look a little different, there's an invert selection here option, typically in the bar here. I like to hit that. And you'll notice my selection now has switched over to everything except that one that I selected. And then from here, you can actually drag these over and you can move them over to either the add files or add folder section. And it's actually going to parse out what's a folder and then what's an individual file as well. So it's kind of just a shortcut to be able to upload all those folders and files in one go. So at this point, we have the whole PSADT package that's going to be uploaded here. So since we're working with an exe here, we're not going to be able to parse all this out of the install. So I have my information ready to go here. So I'm creating a Notepad++. I'm going to call this a demo, and I'm just going to call it PSADT 4.0. All right. And I think I got my app icon in here. We'll put PSADT rocks as our description here. Make sure that shows up. Okay, and then over on the configuration side, most of this is pretty normal here. Now, we want to make sure that the apps and features name here, although we're doing a PSADT package, we're installing Notepad++. We want to make sure we're referencing that application here for that. But for the silent install parameters now, our primary install file is that invoke app deploy toolkit exe, right? So we want to make sure you have to put some information here in the silent install parameters. So what I typically do is just add this command over here that I've got. Now, when you call that exe, you actually have these switches that you can add, and you can swap out the deployment type or deploy mode. Now, install for deployment type and interactive for deploy mode, those are the default values when you just execute the exe itself. So basically, what we're doing here is just going to be what would have default ran anyway. So yeah, you want to put those there. And then I'll just add a language here. And then you can add any conflicting processes as well here if you're going to leverage the conflicting process from us instead of PSADT. And then, yeah, select your detection role like normal and then hit create. And then, yeah, that's how you package up a PSADT as a custom app. And I'll just throw a quick shout out here. This currently works with 4.1 RC2 as well. I know people are starting to use 4.1 for that, not needing to use service UI anymore. So yeah, big shout out to the PSADT team for that. But yeah, that's what I've got for custom apps there. So yeah, put any questions or anything you got in the chat on that.
Yeah, amazing stuff, Michael. Maybe you did a blog on that recently about PSADT 4.1 release candidate. Maybe you can share that. That's the really good read.
Oh yeah, I could drop that in the chat. Yeah.
We also, while Michael's sharing that, we also did a deep dive on custom apps webinar not so long ago. So I'm just going to share that in the chat as well. If you haven't seen that and you really like what you saw today, definitely jump into that too. Some good info shared there. Really powerful feature. It really has enabled customers to get their own line of business apps deployed out there. We still do take suggestions for our catalog too. So definitely still post your ideas to ideas.patchmypc.com for new apps you need. Like our catalog team are aggressively adding, like, I think it's nearly 100 apps last month or something crazy. Like, we're adding new apps at a rate and not. So enterprise level apps that our enterprise customers are asking for. But if you do have those bespoke line of business apps that are not available publicly, custom apps is amazing. Thanks, Michael. Really cool feature.
Join over 8,000 organizations who trust Patch My PC to keep more than 25 million devices up to date. It's secure, automatic, and built to scale. See for yourself. Book a live demo with a Patch My PC engineer or start your free trial.